Have you ever wondered why someone who once felt like your soulmate suddenly becomes a stranger? Have you questioned why the universe seems to systematically remove certain people from your life just when you think you need them most? What if I told you that these departures aren't cruel twists of fate, but actually evidence of a loving intelligence orchestrating your highest evolution? Joseph Campbell, the legendary mythologist who decoded the patterns of human transformation, discovered something profound about the people who enter and exit our lives. Through his study of thousands of heroes' journeys across cultures and centuries, Campbell found that the universe operates like a master teacher, carefully curating our relationships to support our soul's development at every stage. We live in a culture that teaches us to hold on to people at all costs, to fight for relationships even when they're clearly not working, to interpret the loss of any relationship as personal failure. We're told that letting people go means we didn't try hard enough, didn't love deeply enough, didn't fight strongly enough for what we wanted. But Campbell discovered something revolutionary. The universe removes certain people from your path, not as punishment, but as protection. Not because you've failed, but because you've grown. Not because something is wrong, but because something is finally becoming right in ways your conscious mind can't yet understand. Most people experience these departures as devastating losses, as evidence that life is unfair, as proof that they're somehow unworthy of lasting love and connection. They spend years trying to understand what went wrong, what they could have done differently, how they might win these people back. But Campbell understood that this perspective completely misses the deeper intelligence operating in our relational experiences. If you're recognizing yourself in this description, I just know that you're definitely not alone in this. Actually, if this video is making sense to you so far, hit the like button to help me bring this reflection to more people who really need to hear this message. And subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this that goes to the root of problems and really makes you think differently about life. Now tell me in the comments, have you experienced someone being removed from your life in a way that initially felt devastating, but later revealed itself as necessary for your growth? I read all the comments, and this helps me understand better how to create content that really impacts your lives. Campbell understood that relationships operate according to what he called the principle of evolutionary alignment. This principle suggests that people come into our lives when we need what they have to offer for our development, and they leave when that developmental phase is complete, when we've received the lessons they were meant to teach us, when our paths are meant to diverge for our mutual highest good. This isn't a cold mechanical process. It's actually the most loving thing the universe can do for us, because it ensures that we're always surrounded by the people who can best support our current phase of growth and evolution. But understanding this requires developing what Campbell called the cosmic perspective on relationships. The first reason the universe removes certain people from your path is because they've completed what Campbell called their assignment in your story. Every person who enters your life comes with a specific purpose, a particular lesson to teach, a unique gift to offer your development. Once that purpose is fulfilled, once that lesson is learned, once that gift is received, their role in your current chapter naturally comes to an end. Think about the people who have left your life over the years. If you look back with the perspective Campbell encourages, you'll often see that each person taught you something essential that you needed for your next phase of development. The friend who challenged your assumptions prepared you for a more authentic relationship with yourself. The romantic partner who broke your heart taught you about your own strength and resilience. The mentor who disappointed you showed you the importance of trusting your own inner guidance. Campbell discovered that we often resist these departures because we've become attached to the form of the relationship rather than appreciating the function it served. We want to keep people in our lives because we're comfortable with them, because we enjoy their company, because we fear being alone. But the universe operates according to growth and evolution, not comfort and familiarity. When someone has completed their assignment in your story, trying to keep them in your life often becomes forced, artificial, and ultimately harmful to both of you. The relationship loses its natural flow and begins to feel strained, obligatory, or even toxic. This isn't because either of you is a bad person. It's because you're trying to maintain a connection that has served its natural purpose. Campbell found that people who understand this principle learn to appreciate the gifts each person brought to their lives rather than grieving their absence. They develop what he called evolutionary gratitude, the ability to honor what someone contributed to their development while blessing their departure as necessary for continued growth. The second reason the universe removes people from your path is because they represent what Campbell called vibrational misalignment. As you evolve, as you grow, as you become more aligned with your authentic self, your energy frequency changes. You begin to vibrate at a different level than you did before, and this new frequency naturally attracts some people while repelling others. This isn't about being better than other people or becoming superior to those who leave your life. It's about recognizing that like attracts like on an energetic level. As you become more conscious, more authentic, more aligned with your true purpose, you naturally magnetize people who operate at similar frequencies while naturally releasing those who don't. People who operate at lower consciousness levels often become uncomfortable around those who are evolving rapidly. Your growth can trigger their insecurities, challenge their belief systems, or make them confront aspects of themselves they're not ready to face. Rather than rise to meet your new frequency, they often choose to distance themselves or create conflict that forces separation. Campbell discovered that this vibrational sorting is actually a mercy for everyone involved. It prevents you from dimming your light to accommodate those who aren't ready for your brightness, and it frees others from feeling inadequate or pressured to grow faster than their natural timing allows. But here's what makes this process particularly challenging. The people who leave during vibrational upgrades are often those you've been closest to, those you expected to grow with, those you assumed would always be part of your life. Family. Members who can't accept your new perspectives, friends who resent your positive changes, partners who feel threatened by your expanding consciousness. The pain of these departures can be intense because it feels like you're being punished for growing, rejected for becoming your best self, abandoned for following your truth. But Campbell understood that these departures are actually evidence that your transformation is real and significant. If your growth weren't substantial, if your changes weren't authentic, they wouldn't create this kind of energetic shift. The third reason the universe removes people from your path is to create what Campbell called sacred space for your emergence. Sometimes people need to leave your life not because they've done anything wrong or because you've outgrown them, but because their presence prevents you from fully stepping into who you're becoming. This often happens with people who knew you in a previous version of yourself and who, despite their love for you, unconsciously hold you in that old identity. They interact with you based on who you used to be rather than who you're becoming. They expect you to behave according to old patterns, respond according to old conditioning, or remain limited in ways that no longer serve your evolution. Campbell found that these people often love you deeply, but can't see past their attachment to your former self. They might sabotage your growth unconsciously, make comments that undermine your confidence, or create situations that pull you back into old behaviors. This isn't malicious, it's simply the result of their attachment to the version of you they're comfortable with. The universe removes these people temporarily or permanently to give you the energetic space you need to fully embody your new identity, without their unconscious pressure to remain small, without their attachment to your limitations, without their expectations based on your past. You're free to explore the full range of who you're becoming. This sacred space allows you to experiment with new ways of being, to express aspects of yourself that were previously suppressed, to take risks and make choices that the old version of you would never have considered. It's in this space of freedom that your authentic self can finally emerge fully. Sometimes these people return to your life once you've established yourself in your new identity, once you've become so solid in who you are that their expectations can't pull you backward. But sometimes they don't, and Campbell understood that both outcomes serve the highest good of everyone involved. The fourth reason people are removed from your path is because they represent what Campbell called energetic contamination. Some people, despite their positive intentions, carry energy that's incompatible with your highest development. They might be chronic complainers who drain your enthusiasm. They might be energy vampires who feed off your positivity without giving anything back. They might be unconsciously competitive, undermining your success while pretending to support you. Campbell discovered that the universe has zero tolerance for relationships that consistently drain your energy, dim your light, or interfere with your ability to serve your highest purpose. It will orchestrate circumstances that naturally remove these people from your life, often in ways that seem coincidental, but are actually evidence of cosmic protection. This energetic contamination doesn't necessarily mean these people are evil or malicious. They might be wonderful people who are simply not compatible with your energy field at this time. They might be dealing with their own unhealed wounds, unconscious patterns, or limiting beliefs that create energetic interference in your field. The universe removes them not to punish them, but to protect your developing consciousness from influences that would slow or distort your evolution. It's like a master gardener removing weeds, not because the weeds are inherently bad, but because they compete with the desired plants for nutrients and space. People who understand this principle learn to trust the universe's judgment about who belongs in their energy field and who doesn't. They stop feeling guilty about distancing themselves from people who drain them, stop forcing relationships that feel energetically heavy, stop sacrificing their own vibration to accommodate others' dysfunction. The fifth reason the universe removes people is to prepare you for what Campbell called your tribe of destiny. Often certain people must leave your life to make space for the people who are meant to support your highest calling, your greatest service, your ultimate purpose. Campbell found that everyone has what he called soul family, a group of people whose destinies are intertwined with yours, whose purposes complement your own, whose energy amplifies rather than diminishes your gifts. But these people often can't enter your life while you're still energetically attached to relationships that don't serve your highest evolution. The universe clears your relationship field like a farmer clears a field before planting new crops. The old relationships that have served their purpose must be released to make fertile ground for the new connections that will support your next phase of development. This process often involves a period of loneliness, a time when you feel like you don't belong anywhere, like you're between worlds without a clear community or support system. Campbell called this the sacred emptiness that precedes divine filling. This emptiness isn't punishment. It's preparation for receiving relationships that are perfectly aligned with your emerging purpose. During this time, it's important to resist the temptation to fill the void with inadequate relationships, to lower your standards because you're lonely, or to go backward to connections that you've outgrown. This empty space is sacred ground where your true tribe can take root and flourish. When your soul family begins to appear, you'll recognize them immediately. Conversations will flow effortlessly. Collaboration will feel natural and energizing. Support will be mutual and genuine. These relationships will amplify your gifts rather than requiring you to dim them. Encourage your growth rather than trying to contain it. Celebrate your success rather than feeling threatened by it. The sixth reason people are removed from your path is because they represent what Campbell called karmic completion. Sometimes people enter our lives to help us heal old wounds, complete unfinished business from the past, or learn lessons we've been avoiding. Once this karmic work is finished, once the healing is complete, once the lesson is integrated, these people naturally exit our experience. These karmic relationships often feel intense, complicated, and emotionally charged. They trigger our deepest wounds while simultaneously offering opportunities for our greatest healing. They challenge us in ways that force growth while testing our commitment to our own evolution. Campbell discovered that trying to hold on to these relationships beyond their natural completion often leads to repetitive patterns, ongoing drama, or the reopening of wounds that were meant to heal. The universe removes these people once their karmic purpose is fulfilled to prevent you from getting stuck in cycles that no longer serve your development. Understanding karmic completion helps you approach these departures with gratitude rather than resentment. You can appreciate the profound healing and growth these relationships facilitated, while accepting that their departure is evidence of successful completion rather than failure. Some of the most transformative relationships in our lives are also the most temporary because their purpose is so specific and intense. Campbell found that these relationships often leave the deepest impact precisely because they arrive to facilitate specific breakthroughs and then depart once their mission is accomplished. The seventh and most profound reason the universe removes people from your path is to teach you what Campbell called the lesson of divine self-reliance. Sometimes people must leave your life to force you to develop a direct relationship with your own inner wisdom, your own strength, your own connection to the source of all guidance and support. Many people become so dependent on external relationships for validation, direction, and emotional support that they never develop their own inner resources. They outsource their power to others, look to other people for answers that can only come from within, or define themselves through their connections rather than through their own authentic nature. Campbell discovered that the universe will sometimes orchestrate the removal of key people from your life to force you into what he called the hero's solitude, a period where you must learn to be your own best friend, your own source of wisdom, your own emotional support system. This forced independence often feels terrifying initially because it requires you to face fears of abandonment, unworthiness, or inadequacy that you've been avoiding through constant relationship. But Campbell understood that this solitude is actually the greatest gift the universe can give you because it forces you to discover your own completeness. When you learn that you can survive and thrive without depending on others for your emotional well-being, when you develop an unshakable relationship with your own inner guidance, when you become genuinely comfortable in your own company, you become truly free. You no longer enter relationships from neediness but from wholeness. You no longer stay in relationships from fear but choose them from love. This divine self-reliance doesn't mean becoming isolated or antisocial. It means becoming so complete within yourself that all your relationships become expressions of joy rather than attempts to fill voids. You love others from overflow rather than from emptiness, support others from strength rather than from weakness. People who develop this quality become magnetic to healthy relationships because they're not trying to use others to fix themselves, complete themselves, or validate themselves. They enter relationships as whole people seeking to share their wholeness, rather than as broken people seeking to be healed by others. Campbell's ultimate message about why the universe removes people from your path is that it's always an act of love, never an act of punishment. The cosmic intelligence that governs your life loves you too much to allow you to remain stuck in relationships that limit your growth, drain your energy, or prevent you from fulfilling your highest purpose. Every departure, every ending, every relationship that runs its course is evidence of the universe's commitment to your evolution. It's proof that you're loved so deeply that you're never allowed to settle for less than your highest potential, never permitted to remain in situations that keep you small. The pain of these departures is real and valid, but it's also temporary. Campbell found that people who trust the process, who understand the cosmic intelligence behind these changes, experience grief differently. They mourn the loss while simultaneously feeling grateful for the growth, sad about the ending while excited about what's beginning. When you understand that every person who leaves your life does so to make space for something better, when you trust that the universe's timing is perfect even when it doesn't feel that way, when you know that you're always being guided toward your highest good, these departures become evidence of love rather than abandonment. The people who are meant to be in your life will find their way to you at exactly the right time. The relationships that serve your highest evolution will manifest effortlessly. The love that's truly yours will never need to be forced, chased, or convinced to stay. Trust the process, honor the departures, welcome the arrivals. Your life is being orchestrated by an intelligence that sees the bigger picture, knows the perfect timing, and loves you more than you can possibly imagine. And remember, if this video brought any new insight to you, share in the comments what it was. I read all of them, and this helps me create even better content for our community.